I had a problem. I've been uninsured for over 30 years. Reason being, people did not expand Medicaid in our state. However, things changed and we all need health care now. So in the next few minutes, I want to talk about it to you guys. It all began for me back in 1986. I was disabled, born to two disabled parents. My dad had cerebral palsy, my mom had epilepsy. They did the best they could, and they did great with me. At 16, I developed asthma. My dad, because the ambulances weren't available where we lived because it was a rural area, drove me 16 miles to the hospital. When I got there, sorry, we won't treat them. We won't cover your insurance. My dad, back in 1986, had to beg a hospital while I was choking to breathe to live, ladies and gentlemen. And I haven't been insured since. My family's had to pay my hospital bills, my doctor bills, whatever I needed. Thank God for hospital charity, which won't be there. But this is maybe the advocate I am. When the ACA and Obamacare came into existence, I was elated. I was like, yes, I want to have health care. However, our wonderful governor didn't expand Medicaid for me and 1 million people in this state. 8 million nationally in 19 states. This made me be the advocate I am. I had promised a long time ago, because I'm a person of faith, to God that I would help whoever needed help. I'd be the voice for the voiceless. And it made me an advocate. So in 2013, I'm sitting in my church and I'm listening. And the pastor on the screen was Bob Boyd, and he said, I want Christians involved in government. I said, okay, Lord, I'll do it. But before that week was the week of the Martin Luther King I Have a Dream speech. I was into civil rights, and I believe healthcare is a civil right and a human right as a person. And basically, I wanted to do more. I needed to do more. So I said, I would be a voice for the voiceless on Twitter. And I became that voice when I came home, because there was a petition, which the petition didn't work, but it led to a Facebook page called Expand Medicaid Now, which is now Expand Medicaid Now Impact, which leads us to today. Along the way on Impact and Expand Medicaid Now, I met a lady who you see on the slide screen. Her name is Amy Rodriguez. She's a local community advocate and a graduate of the PLTI program also. Very good person, but Amy had a problem. She was uninsured. As was her daughter Genesis, who's currently 23 years old and a mom. But Genesis almost died on us 3 times because of Medicaid. But Genesis and I and Amy are not alone. Right now, we're in the battle of our lives, folks. If they take away Obamacare, the ACA, and they take away Medicaid, people are going to be dying right in that. It's projected that 52 million people by 2026 will be uninsured. This is why I advocate, so that people don't suffer like I did. It was so bad for me as a young child with learning disabilities, my eyes didn't move. Until the time I was 44 years old, I did not know this. I was trying one day when I worked as a bagger to find something on the shelf. I couldn't find it. It was so humiliating for me not to find a product that 2 years earlier I could find. I needed an answer, but without health care, I couldn't do it. So I fought and fought and fought. Found a way to get a Jackson card, went to Baskin Palmer with support of my loving former church, and I got the answer. I'm not going to go blind, but still. No child and no adult should go through what I went through, not knowing and not answering, and having problems fitting in because they have physical, emotional problems that healthcare can fix. That's why I advocate. But the reason Expand Medicaid Now needs to grow is because we can't speak out publicly like I'm doing today. And I'm grateful for that opportunity. But more needs to be known. More voices need to be heard. We cannot let the McConnells and the Trumps and the Ryans win on this battle and the Rick Scotts. We just cannot be silent. They don't want to hear our stories, but you know what? The ADAPT Agency for Disabilities went and it rocked the house 2 weeks ago. They rolled their wheelchairs in, risked arrest, got arrested, and they protested. You know why? Because they wanted to take Medicaid. Not only do they want to take the ACA away, not only do they want to take Medicaid expansion away, but they want to take Medicaid away from people. Yes, basic Medicaid, which is a decent thing that everybody needs. How do you qualify for Medicaid? If you make $12,000 or less a year, you qualify. Had your state expanded, you would have gotten it. But because Florida didn't expand, we all suffer. But we're not alone. If this bill goes through, a lot of people are going to suffer. And that's not good. It really isn't. So, one day I'm in church, after having a great run on social media about a year ago, walk up to this young man at the church and said, hi, I'm Fred. I do this little thing called Expand Medicaid Now. He looked at me like, huh? And I'm like, yeah. And he said, I didn't know there was 1 million people uninsured. I'm like, aren't you on social media? No, I don't do this. Don't you read the paper? No, I don't. I'm like, oh boy. What am I going to do now? I'm sitting there and saying, I'm breaking my rear end on this, and people don't know. This is not good. This is why we're not getting it done. So, I called my friend Amy. I said, hey, we got a problem. And lo and behold, I spoke at a couple little faith-based events, but it just didn't quite click. Amy was proud of me. She says, you got to go to this PLTI class. You got to go. Catalyst is going to make you better. Lo and behold, I came and I'm here. And because of this class, I needed to do a project. My project is taking Expand Medicaid now from social media to the people. We want people in rooms like this, in rooms like I spoke at for my project, anywhere, anyhow, TV, radio, whatever, to know of this problem and other problems we're going to advocate for in the future, because we're not going to go away. Our goal is to have all insured, but at the end of the day, we will advocate for anyone who needs it, and that's what we're going to do. That is our goal. But, so back to the project. Thank you, Kamala. Thank you, Azebe. Thank you to Vanessa Rodriguez, Jeanette Lopez, and Linda Long at Hamilton Walden Pond for helping us to facilitate this great project. I gave an awesome 5 million speech for the community. It was well received. I got an ovation from everybody. People were even astonished. They're like, is this the guy that did this? Is this the guy that did this? Wow, we really didn't understand what he did. But when I got up there and did it, it changed minds and changed perspectives. And that's why we've got to speak out. So we change minds and change perspectives, open minds and open hearts, and get it done. Because if we don't get it done, people are going to die. Right? This is my basic group and organization, what it looks like. Previously, you saw my cover photo for my personal page. Okay. This is it. Okay. Sorry. That's my cover page on my personal page, and the one is Expand. This is our logo for Expand Medicaid Now. You'll see it on our memes, which I'm going to show you next. This is what we do on social media. We do memes, we do blogs, we do video, we do it all. But we're not there yet. Once we start speaking publicly, once we talk to representatives, and once we get action, we're there. This is our organization cover page, and I'm going to show you a few pictures when I get to them. Okay, this is me. I made this meme. It tells my story right here if you guys can study it. The painting is by a lady who's a great advocate. You guys can Google her. Her name is Teresa Browngold. Art is a social inquiry. She is an activist, advocate, and documentary painter, ladies and gentlemen. Now this is the, okay, I'm going to go to the next one next. This is Amy Rodriguez, graduate of our program. You can see the Catalyst logo right there. Trained by our own Kamala. And Craig. Okay, this is Amy's story. She doesn't have health care. But I want you to look at this picture right there. That's Genesis. We'll get to her in a second. This is Amy again. Focus on the picture. This is a mom, uninsured herself, with this girl right here. This is her daughter, 23-year-old Genesis Rodriguez, who, for 3 years of her life, was uninsured. This girl suffered from childhood with chronic lung problems and different various problems with asthma-related issues. This poor girl, 3 years ago, we almost lost her 3 times because her mother, she was uninsured because of the Medicaid gap. We almost lost her to death because they couldn't afford medicine and she had no access to health care. This is terrible. This is a mom who herself suffers from pain from fibromyalgia, goes to work every day, works very hard, takes care of a mother, takes care of Amy, Genesis' sister, and now takes care of a grandbaby, uninsured. Genesis right now is insured because she had a baby and has Medicaid. But, again, with the Medicaid, they could take it away from her at any time because of budgetary problems with Trump care. She's going to suffer. Okay? I want you to just look at the picture and just tell me what you think. Should she suffer? Really? I mean, 23 years old. She just gave birth to a baby girl. Beautiful baby girl. We can't do this to her. She's been through enough. I've been through enough. Amy's been through enough. Michael Phillips, who I want to allude to in a minute, who was on MSNBC. Great interview on the last word with Lawrence O'Donnell. Here's a guy laying on a stretcher, barely functioning. And they were going to take his Medicaid away. Him and his mom are fighting like crazy with these other people in wheelchairs. My dad's in a wheelchair. I get it. I don't want to see people in wheelchairs suffer. I take care of a person in a wheelchair. It hit home with me, big time. And it should with everybody else. This thing with healthcare has got to hit home. We've got to just stop what we're doing and stop this heartless, inhumane treatment of others. Can you just give us the dignity of healthcare? Please, everybody. Now this one is a little bit of humor. I made this meme recently. Notice who it is. It's the super friends. Read the thing, please. Even supervillains are not as heartless as those GOP trying to take health care away from the poor, sick, disabled, save Medicaid, save our care, protect our care. Really. I mean, really, think about it. When we were kids, we looked up to this. We watched this. We looked up to these guys. They fought the villains. The villains went away. What are we doing now as advocates? We're fighting the villains. We're fighting. Our superpower is our intelligence, our heart, our minds, our kindness, and our gifts of speaking, reading, writing, and teaching. That's our advocacy. We've got to be the superheroes for the people. We've got to be their hero. We've got to be their champion, and Expand Medicaid Now aims to do that. Okay, Kev, thank you. So, I'm going to basically close real quick with a couple quick facts. Not only does Medicaid affect you and me, it affects your hospitals. One thing I learned in this class was stop emphasizing Fred as much, but emphasize the community. And in my speech, I did just that. The community, this very one, Broward. Our main hospital is Jackson Memorial. It is a public trust hospital. It relies on federal and state and local funds. Do you realize when Medicaid goes away and the ACA goes away, that hospital could close, cut services, turn you down for care, or even worse yet, close its clinics, close its doors forever, or be sold and privatized like Governor Scott's hospitals, the Hospital Corporation of America, charge you what they want, and if you can't pay it, too bad, die. That's what we're facing with this. Too bad, die. Because Trump care is death care, and that bill proposed is a killer bill. We need to be like I said. Now here's a question for you. If we can put a man on the moon, don't you think we should give affordable, quality health care and prescription drugs to everybody? Back in Kennedy's day when he challenged us, this was the thing. Why can't we do this with health care? Why can't we do this for each other? Why? Why can't we? Why can't we have that spirit again? That's what we need, is that spirit. We need that spirit. So I'm going to just close with 3 questions. My first question is, do you believe everybody should have access to affordable, quality health care and prescription medicine? Another little story before I go. Prescription medicine. How many of you know someone who's experienced sticker shock lately with prescription medicine? Okay, you're not alone. Last year, I was taking Singulair for my asthma, generic brand. Went to the Winn-Dixie pharmacy. Winn-Dixie pharmacy closed. So guess what? I had to go to Walgreens. Went from paying $15 for 30 pills to $70 for 30 pills. I about died. I'm like, oh God, my movement's going to be over. What I'm trying to do with internet, because it came down to internet or pills, I got to take the pills to live. So I'm scrambling. Fortunately, Publix came through. They gave me a way to get my medicine for free. But not everybody's going to have Publix to give you free medicine. And that may only last so long. What are we going to do? Because this medicine thing don't just affect Fred and Amy and Genesis. It affects our seniors, especially like the ones I talked to last 2 weeks ago on my project. That's what I wanted to come home with them. I wanted to explain to them, hey, healthcare affects you with your medicine, it affects you with your Medicaid, and it affects you also if you need to go in a nursing home after that transition. Because the one lady shouted me down, and she said, oh, why are you talking to us about Medicaid? We get Medicare. And I'm like, well, did you know Medicaid pays 1/3 of all bills for hospital and medical care? Medicaid and Medicare. 1/3. The economy is run by healthcare. If this bill goes through, we could go in a recession or a depression. But we can't let that happen. So finally, I'm going to ask you two final questions. Do you believe healthcare is a human right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And finally, I want to call y'all to action. I want to ask you, if you haven't done so, I have a page called Expand Medicaid Now and Impact on Facebook. You can follow me at Fred Christian 10 and Expand Medicaid Now, Fred Christian 13 on Twitter. Please like our stuff. Start sharing our tweets and memes. Get involved. I make these memes not for kicks. I make them to educate you and teach you. This is the modern way of advocacy right here. People aren't taking it serious enough, but this is telling a story right here, if you think about it. And that's what we do. We tell a story. I want everybody involved in it. I want everybody to go for it, and I just want everybody to enjoy it. But there's one thing you can do. Phone bank for my friend Lori Scott. Stop if you can. Please phone bank for her. Also, call your legislators. Write them. Write letters to the editor. Email. Get out there and fight like Cortez did for us a couple weeks ago. Go to Tallahassee like Mississippi did. Just do something. Don't just sit on your hands and say, well, gee, I can't. Oh, I got to go do this. Ain't happening no more, folks. I need the health care. My poor friend Genesis needs it. Michael needs it. We all need it. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you.